Question 1. Read the following paragraph. During a routine patrol on Tuesday, Officer Jenkins observed a vehicle traveling northbound on Highway 101 with a severely damaged taillight. The vehicle was a late model, dark-colored sedan, consistent with a commonly reported make in the area. Officer Jenkins initiated a traffic stop near the 200 block of Main Street. Upon approaching the vehicle, the officer noted the driver appeared nervous and was making furtive movements towards the center console. The officer proceeded cautiously, requesting the driver's license and registration. Which of the following inferences can be drawn about the officer's initial perception of the situation? A. Officer Jenkins immediately suspected the driver was involved in a serious crime. B. Officer Jenkins believed the vehicle was stolen due to its make and color. C. Officer Jenkins perceived potential danger based on the driver's behavior. D. Officer Jenkins intended to issue a citation solely for the damaged taillight. Answer: C. Officer Jenkins perceived potential danger based on the driver's behavior. The passage explicitly states that the driver appeared nervous and was making furtive movements towards the center console, which are common indicators that an officer might perceive potential danger or a threat. The officer's decision to proceed cautiously further supports this interpretation, as caution is a natural response to perceived risk during a traffic stop. Understanding how an officer assesses and reacts to cues, such as nervous and furtive movements, is crucial for maintaining safety and effectiveness in law enforcement. Always pay close attention to behavioral cues mentioned in scenarios, as they often reveal underlying perceptions or reasons for an officer's actions. Question 2. Choose the sentence that uses correct grammar and punctuation. A. The suspect, who was apprehended, tried to flee from the scene. B. The suspect who was apprehended, tried to flee from the scene. C. The suspect who was apprehended tried to flee from the scene. D. The suspect who was apprehended tried to flee from the scene. Answer: A. The suspect who was apprehended tried to flee from the scene. This sentence correctly uses commas to set off a non-essential clause, who was apprehended. A non-essential clause provides additional information but is not critical to the meaning of the main sentence, and it can be removed without changing the fundamental meaning. The sentence still makes sense. The suspect tried to flee from the scene if who was apprehended is omitted, indicating that the commas are necessary to isolate this parenthetical information. When identifying such clauses, remember that if the information is extra and not defining, it typically requires commas around it. Question 3. In the context of a police report, what does the term verbatim most accurately refer to? A. A summarized account of an incident. B. An exact word-for-word transcription or quotation. C. A detailed description of physical evidence. D. An officer's personal interpretation of events. Answer: B. An exact word-for-word transcription or quotation. The term verbatim means in exactly the same words, word for word. When an officer records a statement verbatim in a report, it signifies that the statement is written down precisely as it was spoken, without any alterations, interpretations, or summaries. This level of accuracy is crucial in legal documentation to ensure clarity and avoid misrepresentation of facts, as the exact phrasing can hold significant legal weight. Always strive for accuracy and precision in reports, particularly when documenting direct quotes. Question 4. An officer is preparing to interview a victim of a minor theft. Which approach is generally considered most effective for obtaining accurate and detailed information? A. Begin by telling the victim what the officer believes happened, then ask for confirmation. B. Ask a series of closed-ended questions that require only yes or no answers. C. Allow the victim to narrate the incident in their own words, with minimal interruption. D. Focus primarily on gathering identifying information about the suspect, neglecting other details. Answer: C. Allow the victim to narrate the incident in their own words, with minimal interruption. Allowing a victim to narrate an incident in their own words, often referred to as an open-ended approach, encourages them to recall details freely and comprehensively without being led by specific questions. This method helps to minimize interviewer bias and can reveal crucial information that might not be discovered through a series of restrictive, yes or no questions. Effective interviewing techniques emphasize active listening in creating an environment where individuals feel comfortable sharing their complete account. Remember to let people tell their story first before asking specific follow-up questions. Question 5. Which of the following words is spelled correctly? A. Separate. B. Occasion. C. Lick knees. D. Definite. Answer: B. Occasion. The correctly spelled word among the choices is occasion. The other words contain common spelling errors. Separate should be separate, lick knees should be license, and definite should be definite. Accurate spelling is essential in police reports and official documents to maintain professionalism, clarity, and credibility. Pay close attention to words with double letters or tricky vowel combinations, as these are often sources of common errors. Question 6. A patrol unit receives a call about a suspicious person loitering near a closed business. The dispatch states the person is wearing a red jacket, blue jeans, and a black baseball cap. Upon arrival, the officer observes an individual matching the description walking away from the business. Based solely on this information, which of the following is the most logical next step for the officer? A. Immediately detain the individual for questioning, assuming they committed a crime. B. Dismiss the call, as the person is no longer directly at the business. C. Approach the individual to observe their behavior further and make consensual contact. D. Activate emergency lights and initiate a high-speed pursuit. Answer: C. Approach the individual to observe their behavior further and make consensual contact. The most logical and appropriate next step for an officer in this scenario is to approach the individual to observe their behavior further and attempt consensual contact. While the individual matches the description, there is no immediate indication of a crime beyond suspicious loitering, which is vague. Consensual contact allows the officer to gather more information without immediate detention or a show of force, respecting the individual's rights while still investigating the call. Law enforcement actions should always be proportional to the information available and prioritize de-escalation and information gathering when safe to do so. Question 7. When writing an incident report, an officer should primarily focus on presenting A. Personal opinions and feelings about the involved parties. B. Unverified rumors heard from witnesses. C. Objective facts and observations. D. Hypothetical scenarios and speculative conclusions. Answer: C. Objective facts and observations. An incident report must be an objective record of events, focusing solely on verifiable facts and direct observations made by the officer or reliably reported by credible witnesses. Including personal opinions, unverified rumors, or speculative conclusions can undermine the report's credibility and introduce bias, which is unacceptable in legal documentation. Precision and impartiality are paramount in official police reports, ensuring they serve as accurate historical records for subsequent investigations or legal proceedings. Always remember that a police report is a statement of fact, not an outlet for personal commentary. Question 8. A new state law mandates that all drivers must activate their headlights when visibility is reduced to 500 feet or less due to weather conditions. Officer Ramirez cited a driver on a foggy morning because the driver's headlights were off, and Officer Ramirez estimated visibility to be approximately 300 feet. The driver argued that the fog was not heavy enough to warrant headlights. What is the primary reason Officer Ramirez's citation is likely valid based on the provided information? A. The driver admitted the fog was present. B. Officer Ramirez's estimation of visibility met the legal threshold. C. The driver failed to understand the severity of the weather. D. The law specifies weather conditions, not the driver's perception. Answer: B. Officer Ramirez's estimation of visibility met the legal threshold. The new state law specifically sets a visibility threshold of 500 feet or less for headlight activation, regardless of a driver's subjective perception of heavy fog. Officer Ramirez's estimation of 300 feet visibility falls below this legal threshold, making the citation valid according to the objective standard established by the law. Understanding and applying specific legal thresholds, rather than relying on personal interpretations or feelings, is crucial for consistent and lawful enforcement. Always refer to the specific criteria outlined in laws or regulations when assessing compliance. Question 9. Identify the sentence that is correctly written without any grammatical errors. A. Despite their extensive training, the new recruits encountered unexpected challenges. B. Despite their extensive training, the new recruits encountered unexpected challenges. C. Despite their extensive training, the new recruits encountered unexpected challenges. D. Despite their extensive training, the new recruits encountered unexpected challenges. Answer: A. Despite their extensive training, the new recruits encountered unexpected challenges. This sentence correctly uses a comma to separate the introductory phrase, despite their extensive training, from the main clause. Introductory phrases typically require a comma after them to improve readability and clarify the sentence structure. Option B lacks the necessary comma, C incorrectly uses a semicolon where a comma is needed, and D adds an unnecessary comma that breaks the flow of the main clause. Proper use of commas after introductory elements helps readers clearly understand where one part of the sentence ends and the next begins. Question 10. The police chief admonished the officer for insubordination after the officer refused to follow a direct order. What does admonished mean in this context? A. Praised. B. Rewarded. C. Warned or reprimanded. D. Promoted. Answer: C. Warned or reprimanded. In this context, admonished means to warn or reprimand someone firmly. The chief's action was a disciplinary one, taken because the officer was insubordinate, that is, refusing to obey an authority. Understanding the precise meaning of vocabulary words, especially those related to official conduct or disciplinary actions, is important for interpreting situations and reports accurately. When encountering an unfamiliar word, consider the surrounding words and the overall tone of the sentence for clues to its meaning. Question 11. An officer is de-escalating a tense situation involving a distressed individual who is shouting obscenities. Which of the following communication strategies is most likely to be effective? A. Shouting back at the individual to assert authority. B. Engaging in a lengthy debate about the individual's behavior. C. Maintaining a calm, empathetic tone and active listening. D. Threatening immediate arrest if the shouting does not stop. Answer: C. Maintaining a calm, empathetic tone and active listening. Maintaining a calm, empathetic tone and actively listening are crucial de-escalation strategies because they help to reduce tension and show the distressed individual that their concerns are being acknowledged. Shouting, debating, or immediately threatening arrest can further agitate the individual and escalate the situation, making a peaceful resolution more difficult. Effective communication in law enforcement prioritizes diffusing volatile situations through understanding and professionalism. Remember that a calm demeanor can be your most powerful tool in a tense situation. Question 12. Which of the following words is spelled correctly? A. Receive. B. Separate. C. Judgment. D. Surveillance. Answer: D. Surveillance. The correctly spelled word among the options is surveillance. The other words are common misspellings. Receive should be receive, a comma and I before E exception, separate should be separate, and judgment is often spelled judgment in American English, though judgment is acceptable in British English. The American spelling is preferred in official reports. Accurate spelling is fundamental for clarity and professionalism in all law enforcement documentation. Always double-check words that are frequently misspelled or have unusual vowel combinations. Question 13. Observe the sequence of events. First, the alarm sounded. Second, the light in the adjacent office flickered. Third, the main power went out. Fourth, the emergency generator started. Based on this sequence, what is the most probable causal relationship between the main power going out and the emergency generator starting? A. The generator starting caused the main power to go out. B. The main power going out caused the generator to start. C. The alarm sounding caused both the power outage and the generator to start. D. There is no direct causal relationship, it is merely a coincidence. Answer: B. The main power going out caused the generator to start. In a typical sequence for emergency power systems, the primary power failure, main power going out, is the trigger that initiates the emergency generator to start. The generator is designed to activate automatically when the main power supply is interrupted, providing a backup. Understanding common sequences of events and logical cause and effect relationships is important for drawing accurate conclusions from observations, much like an officer would do when investigating a scene. Think of it as a logical chain reaction, where one event directly leads to the next. Question 14. An officer is documenting a witness statement in a report. Which sentence demonstrates the best practice for clarity and objectivity? A. The witness, who seemed distraught, stated that the suspect definitely stole the car. B. The witness said the suspect ran like a bat out of hell from the scene. C. The witness appeared to be lying about the details of the incident. D. The witness stated, I observed a male subject quickly enter the green sedan and drive away. Answer: D. The witness stated, I observed a male subject quickly enter the green sedan and drive away. This sentence demonstrates best practice by directly quoting the witness's statement, presenting it as an objective fact, and avoiding subjective interpretations or emotional assessments. Directly quoting helps to preserve the original information without alteration and ensures that the report reflects what was actually said, not what the officer perceived the witness's emotional state or truthfulness to be. In report writing, prioritize direct, verifiable information over interpretations or colloquialisms to maintain accuracy and professionalism. Question 15. A police department issued a new directive concerning the use of body-worn cameras, BWCs. The directive states that BWCs must be activated for all citizen contacts, traffic stops, and any incident involving the use of force. It also mandates that officers verbally inform individuals when recording begins, unless safety concerns prevent immediate notification. All BWC footage must be uploaded to secure departmental servers by the end of each shift. Under what circumstance is an officer explicitly permitted not to verbally inform an individual that recording has begun? A. When the officer is conducting a routine traffic stop. B. When the officer has a safety concern that prevents immediate notification. C. When the citizen contact is brief and informal. D. When the officer forgets to provide notification. Answer: B. When the officer has a safety concern that prevents immediate notification. The directive explicitly states that officers must verbally inform individuals when recording begins, unless safety concerns prevent immediate notification. This clause provides a specific exception for situations where an officer's safety would be compromised by taking the time to give verbal notification. All other situations listed typically require notification as per the general rules. Understanding the specific exceptions or caveats within policy statements is essential for correct application in real-world scenarios. Question 16. The district attorney presented their evidence to the jury. Which pronoun correctly refers to district attorney? A. The district attorney presented his evidence to the jury. B. The district attorney presented her evidence to the jury. C. The district attorney presented their evidence to the jury. D. The district attorney presented its evidence to the jury. Answer: C. The district attorney presented their evidence to the jury. In modern standard English, especially when the gender of a singular individual is unknown or when referring to a role that can be filled by any gender, there is widely accepted and preferred as a singular pronoun. While his or her would be correct if the gender were known, there effectively covers both possibilities without assuming gender. This usage reflects evolving grammatical norms and is common in professional writing to maintain inclusivity and avoid awkward constructions like his or her. When you encounter a singular noun that could be male or female, there is often the safest and most appropriate pronoun. Question 17. The incident commander determined that the situation had become untenable, requiring an immediate strategic withdrawal. What does untenable mean in this context? A. Easily managed. B. Sustainable and stable. C. Not able to be maintained or defended. D. Highly predictable. Answer: C. Not able to be maintained or defended. In this context, untenable means that the situation cannot be maintained, defended, or continued. An incident commander would order a strategic withdrawal if the position or strategy could no longer be held or was becoming too dangerous to sustain. Understanding such critical vocabulary, especially in tactical or operational contexts, is essential for correctly interpreting official communications and reports. When a situation is described as untenable, it signals that a change in approach or a retreat is necessary. Question 18. An officer discovers a lost wallet containing a significant amount of cash and identification. The officer can easily identify the owner. Which action aligns best with ethical conduct and departmental policy? A. Leave the wallet at the location, assuming the owner will return for it. B. Keep the cash and turn in the wallet with only the identification. C. Immediately attempt to contact the owner and return the entire wallet. D. Report the wallet as having no cash, then turn it into evidence. Answer: C. Immediately attempt to contact the owner and return the entire wallet. The most ethical and professional action is to immediately attempt to contact the owner and return the entire wallet, including all its contents. This demonstrates integrity, honesty, and a commitment to serving the public by protecting property. Taking the cash, misreporting the contents, or leaving the wallet unattended would be unethical and potentially criminal, undermining public trust in law enforcement. Always remember that integrity means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Question 19. Which of the following words is spelled correctly? A. Conscience. B. Conscience. C. Conscience. D. Conscience. Answer: A. Conscience. The correctly spelled word is conscience, which refers to a person's moral sense of right and wrong. Misspellings like conscience, conscience, and conscience are common due to the tricky combination of vowels and consonants. Correct spelling, especially for words that are frequently encountered in discussions of ethics or decision-making, is crucial for clear and professional communication in law enforcement. Take extra care with words that have silent letters or unusual vowel combinations. Question 20. Patrol, beat, investigator, underscore 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 underscore. A. Evidence. B. Case. C. Detective. D. Crime. Answer: B. Case. This analogy demonstrates a relationship between a person's role and their primary area of focus or responsibility. A patrol officer's primary area of responsibility is their beat or designated patrol area. Similarly, an investigator or detective's primary area of responsibility and focus is a case that they are actively working on. Understanding these relationships is part of logical reasoning and the ability to connect concepts within the context of law enforcement roles. Consider what each role primarily manages or is assigned. Question 21. Which sentence uses the most appropriate and concise language for a police report? A. It was observed by Officer Smith that the suspect was in the process of running away. B. Officer Smith observed the suspect running away. C. The suspect could be seen in the act of fleeing, according to Officer Smith. D. Observations made by Officer Smith indicated the suspect was attempting to escape. Answer: B. Officer Smith observed the suspect running away. This sentence uses active voice and is the most concise and direct, which are key characteristics of effective police report writing. Active voice, Officer Smith observed, clearly identifies the doer of the action, making the report easier to read and understand than passive constructions. It was observed by Officer Smith. Conciseness ensures that reports are efficient and contain only necessary information, saving time and improving clarity. Aim for direct and unambiguous language in all your official communications. Question 22. A new internal policy states, all department vehicles must undergo a routine safety inspection every 6 months or every 7,500 miles, whichever comes first. Records of these inspections must be maintained by the Fleet Management Division and be available for review upon request by a supervisor. If a vehicle has traveled 8,000 miles since its last inspection, but only 5 months have passed, what action is required? A. The vehicle must undergo a safety inspection. B. The vehicle does not require an inspection yet. C. The inspection record must be updated immediately. D. The supervisor must review the vehicle's maintenance logs. Answer: A. The vehicle must undergo a safety inspection. The policy explicitly states that inspections are required every 6 months or every 7,500 miles, whichever comes first. In this scenario, although only 5 months have passed, the vehicle has exceeded the 7,500-mile threshold by traveling 8,000 miles. Because the mileage threshold was met before the time threshold, the vehicle must undergo a safety inspection. This requires careful reading of conditional statements like, whichever comes first, to correctly apply policies. Question 23. Select the sentence that demonstrates correct parallel structure. A. The officer advised the driver to fasten the seatbelt, to check the mirrors, and for driving carefully. B. The officer advised the driver to fasten the seatbelt, to check the mirrors, and to drive carefully. C. The officer advised the driver to fasten the seatbelt, checking the mirrors, and driving carefully. D. The officer advised the driver to fasten the seatbelt, check the mirrors, and carefully driving. Answer: B. The officer advised the driver to fasten the seatbelt, to check the mirrors, and to drive carefully. This sentence exhibits correct parallel structure because all elements in the list begin with the infinitive, to, followed by a verb, to fasten, to check, to drive. Parallelism means using the same grammatical form for elements that are similar in function or content within a sentence. This improves clarity, readability, and the overall flow of written communication, which is crucial for professional reports. When listing actions or items, ensure they all follow the same grammatical pattern. Question 24. During a traffic stop, an officer smells marijuana emanating from the vehicle. The driver appears cooperative but states there is nothing illegal in the car. What is the most appropriate next step for the officer? A. Immediately release the driver, as they are cooperative. B. Conduct a thorough search of the vehicle without further inquiry. C. Request consent to search the vehicle or establish probable cause for a search. D. Issue a warning and tell the driver to leave the area. Answer: C. Request consent to search the vehicle or establish probable cause for a search. The odor of marijuana emanating from a vehicle typically provides probable cause to search the vehicle, depending on state and local laws regarding marijuana use and possession. The most appropriate next step for the officer is to either request consent from the driver to search the vehicle, or proceed with a probable cause search. Releasing the driver or just issuing a warning would ignore potential evidence, while conducting a search without established probable cause or consent could violate rights. Understanding legal thresholds for searches is fundamental to constitutional policing. Question 25. An officer's report described the perpetrator's gait as lurching and unsteady. This implies the perpetrator was most likely A. Walking with a smooth, even pace. B. Moving gracefully and deliberately. C. Stumbling or moving with difficulty. D. Running quickly and erratically. Answer: C. Stumbling or moving with difficulty. The words lurching and unsteady both describe a manner of walking or moving that is irregular, stumbling, or unbalanced. If someone's gait is described this way, it implies they are moving with difficulty or perhaps under the influence of something, rather than with grace, smoothness, or speed. Precise vocabulary is crucial in police reports to convey accurate observations and characteristics, as these details can be vital for identification or understanding the circumstances of an incident. Always consider the exact connotations of descriptive words in official documentation.